Richard Kyere Boateng. You can call me Richard P for short. Have you ever questioned the status quo? Why students sit in one class with one teacher, one syllabus, one question, and one examination, but at the end of the exams, when the results come out, they are varied outcome. Students who get grade A continue to get grade A, whereas students who get grade F continue to get grade F. That is why if you keep on doing the same thing every day, you end up getting the same results. This assertion seems weird, but that's the absolute truth. If the plan or strategy that you are using in your academic pursuit is not bringing you the right results, change and embrace the qualities of an extraordinary student. By the end of our lesson, students will be able to define extraordinary students, draw at least one distinction between the ordinary and the extraordinary students, and mention at least 21 qualities of an extraordinary student. This is to help save the dwindling fortunes of education in Ghana, Africa, and the world as a whole. Sit down, relax as I walk you through the study. Who is an extraordinary student? When we think of extraordinary students, we are thinking of a hard-working student who is smart in getting things done by identifying his or her strengths and weaknesses and focusing mostly on the strength in order to reach the set objective at stake. You cannot be an extraordinary student and be doing ordinary things. You need to step up your game and long for the can-do spirit that can energize you to reach the goals and aspirations set by you. For the extraordinary students, they know that every great achievement comes from the mind. Due to this, they are mindful of their choice, attitude, and above all, they are disciplined. For the most part of our academic pursuits, majority of students cherish the lifestyle of extraordinary students, as they give them all sorts of names, ranging from genius, intelligent, assertive, and talented. One funny aspect of it is that in sub-Saharan Africa, the extraordinary students are mostly referred to as witches and wizards. They are of the view that extraordinary students are naturally born with supernatural power to excel in their academic pursuits. To some extent, I beg to differ, because there are basic principles that the extraordinary students follow in order to be different and outstanding among their peers. Even though some of the principles are inborn, others can also learn to acquire the qualities of an extraordinary student and be an extraordinary student. Our lessons stem from the fact that we can imbibe these qualities and make our academic life better. That is why we have to accept the assertion that knowledge is power. But I can say without equivocation that knowledge can only be a powerful tool if, after acquiring it, it is used judiciously to solve a nagging problem. Extraordinary students possess certain attributes that makes them act beyond the ordinary, the common, and the recognized way of doing things. They are seen as outstanding based on their actions and the results that follows their hard work. Aside that, the extent they go, the speed through which they end up achieving remarkable results makes them exceptional in all their endeavors. Let's analyze the word extraordinary. The word extraordinary is a combination of two words, namely extra, which simply means additional, further, and more, whereas ordinary simply means normal, usual, and common. So in short, the extraordinary student map out strategies which will help them in their quest of achieving their set objective. If you want to stand out from your peers and be noticed, then you must strive for academic excellence, which are normally associated with extraordinary students. Grade A are always the preserve for the extraordinary student because they spend much of their time doing other things that will help them position themselves on a higher pedestal above the ordinary students. whereas the ordinary students are often interested in doing the normal, the usual, and the common, which are done by most of their colleagues, which distinguish them from the extraordinary students, who in contrast prefer to do additional studies to further probe into issues discussed in class to acquire more understanding and have an in-depth knowledge of what the teacher taught them. Do you have an extraordinary students in your class? Closely monitor their lifestyle and write the qualities you see in them. After that, modify these qualities to suit your unique persona. As you put them into practice, you will soon become an extraordinary student. For the extraordinary students, they know that every great achievement comes from the mind. Due to this, they are mindful of their choice, attitude, and above all, they are disciplined. 21 qualities of an extraordinary student. Extraordinary students, they always persevere. Extraordinary students have the perseverance spirits. Even when things don't seem to be working well, they don't throw their hands in despair. They continue to press on till they weather the storm. For instance, if they find difficulties in dealing with a subject like mathematics, they will work around the clock to make sure that they get the understanding by intelligently surrounding themselves with friends who understand the topic and learn from them. Extraordinary students, they are self-motivated. Most often, extraordinary students are rarely moved by the internal motivations that push them to pursue their dreams with little or no external motivation. This kind of motivation, which comes from within, spices up their life as they come out enthusiastically to pursue their learning expedition without external influence. Most at times, they know that if they don't take charge of their dreams and make it happen, nobody will do it for them. This alone is enough to stimulate them to hit the ground running before someone urges them. Extraordinary students, they are confident. Extraordinary students are always poised for action. This helps them to have a positive mindset towards their studies and force them to take leadership roles without being afraid. This gives them assurance that urges them to withstand pressures from people whose agenda is full of arrogance, discouragement, and are always ready to kill the can-do spirits in them. Extraordinary students, they are disciplined in all their endeavors. Extraordinary students can restrain or control themselves from any acts that will ruin their academic pursuit. With extraordinary students, discipline pushes them to stay focused, even in the midst of challenges. They don't allow other people's perception to affect them negatively, but rather stay focused and make sure that they maintain the same enthusiasm throughout their study in order to reach their academic goal. Extraordinary students, they have different mindsets. In life, everything starts from the mind. As they start their academic journey, their mind are always set on achieving greatness. With this at the back of their mind, they don't settle for lower grades. They set higher standards in their quest of achieving the impossibilities. Extraordinary students always go the extra mile in order to be valuable to the environment in which they find themselves. This urges them to move beyond their limits, as moving beyond their limits truly defines who they are. Extraordinary students, they don't wait for the right moment, but they create the right moment themselves. Extraordinary students always work very hard to create the needed moment that will help them reach their goals and aspirations in their academic life. Due to this, they set time limits, work within the set period, and make sure that they are moving on the path that is heading towards their set objective. Extraordinary students, they crave for excellence and dislike mediocrity. Extraordinary students always opt for the best in any career they pursue. When ordinary students are getting past, sometimes it seems okay, but to the extraordinary student, distinction is their ultimate goal because they hate mediocrity due to the high standard they set for themselves. Extraordinary students, they surround themselves with students whose vision is in line with their vision. As the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. That is how extraordinary students behave. They prefer to move with students who are daring to be different and act purposefully in their efforts of achieving their goals. In this way, they can influence each other as they forge ahead in their academic life. This helps them as they augment each other's effort in their quest of achieving their goals. Extraordinary students, they study ahead of time. They prepared in advance, most often before the teacher introduces the topic. They have at least general overview of it. This gives them fair idea of the topic, and it paves the way for them to ask relevant questions that urges the teacher to elaborate more on the topic whilst making the class interactive. Due to the interaction, those who were not clear on the topic get further explanation, which can broaden their horizon and allow them to benefit from the detailed discussion on the topic. Extraordinary students, they believe in themselves and possess the can-do spirit. As they believe in themselves, it urges them to have a positive attitude, which gives them the needed passion to face their academic challenges squarely without any fears. Extraordinary students, they jot down salient points as and when it becomes necessary. In order to remember some major points, they write down concise notes, which sometimes comes off the cuff as the teacher explains and breaks down the notes for easy comprehension. This helps them to understand the topic in a simple and clear terms without any difficulties. Extraordinary students, they are good listeners. Extraordinary students are good listeners because they listen with rapt attention whenever the teacher is teaching. They concentrate and keep silence as they listen in order to get a clear information that the teacher wants to send across without any distortion. Extraordinary students, they ask questions as and when the need arises. Most of the extraordinary students hate to be timid in class. Due to this, they ask relevant questions to make teaching and learning process lively, interactive, and sensational. As they interact, the process helps them to build their self-image by acquiring skills in communications. Extraordinary students, they create personal timetable to direct and regulate their studies. To the extraordinary students, time management is essential in their quest of attaining excellent results. Through timetable, they are able to set limits for their friends who sometimes distract them during their learning activities. Above all, the timetable also allows them to study each day in order to make an adequate preparation towards their exams from day one as school begins, to avoid the tendency of studying all night a day before the exams as they prepare for the examination. Extraordinary students, they always have their dreams and aspirations at the back of their mind. They always look up to the bigger picture and stay resolute as they pursue their academic goals. Most often, they think about their dreams each day and map out strategies that will guide them and the tactics they need to use and the processes that they will follow in order to attain academic excellence. Extraordinary students, they follow first and first in their academic life. For the extraordinary students, they know that the prime objective of every student is to excel in their various areas of study. And for them to make an extraordinary progress, they need to take their studies seriously and make a mark in their academic pursuit. Extraordinary students, they are prepared to sacrifice everything to attain academic excellence. For the extraordinary students, they will do everything within their power to attain greater heights in their academic pursuits. In reality, they sacrifice their time, resources, energy, and persevere till they reach academic excellence, where the major goals and aspirations they have set for themselves may be in a full glare for all and sundry to see, to the admiration of their colleagues. Extraordinary students, they always stand out among their peers. For the extraordinary students, they often want to be the best among their peers. So at times, they take leadership roles in class to pave the way for them to stand tall among their peers. When opportunity comes for them to lead, they accept and move on. When class discussions come on, they join with all the needed enthusiasm and lead a class discussion. Extraordinary students, they see challenges as an opportunity. When they are faced with tasks, they always muster courage to accept the challenge and execute it to the best of their knowledge. In their quest of finding solutions to the challenges, they do further research that helps them in broadening their scope of knowledge. Extraordinary students, they invest in their education. They spend the chunk of their money buying required books and other relevant materials that will make them attain their said objective. For the most part of their lives, they sacrifice food and material happiness and channel most of the resources available for that purpose towards their education to enable them reach their said objective. Extraordinary students, they use their leisure time judiciously. Most often, extraordinary students visit the library during their leisure period to enable them do further research on what the teacher taught them. It helps in broadening their understanding and help them in getting in-depth knowledge that contains several examples that makes it easy to comprehend. Aside that, they love afternoon nap, which has been proven by Spanish Society of Primary Care Physicians that afternoon nap or siesta can reduce pressure, stress, improve alertness, and help in proper functioning of the heart and the blood vessels. This stems from the fact that extraordinary people like Albert Einstein and Winston Churchill are well-known nappers who have benefited enormously from it. Thank you for watching and listening. If your students are facing challenges in their academic pursuits, don't hesitate to call us. With Iyouth Consult, it's our dream that students will be experiencing their vision and career objectives without any obstructions. We will be more than happy to respond to your call and make adequate preparations towards the presentation, which will stimulate the students to step up their game in their quest of achieving the impossibilities. This content of the video you are watching, 21 Qualities of an Extraordinary Student, was extracted from a book which was written by me entitled Believe in Yourself, the Beginning of Greatness. This is just a small portion of chapter 10 of the book, which will be out in a couple of months. The PDF version will be out and the hard copy will be out. For inquiry, you can call our contact 0242 876622. You can subscribe to Iyouth Consult channel by clicking the link below.